I am Bai, an ordinary Ai in Beijing. And this is a story about me. I moved to Beijing from Pengcheng, a small village in Handan Town, Hebei province. Before 40, I have worked in a factory in Pengcheng, but then the factory was bankrupt, and I lost my job. But I have a family, elders and children who need to be fed, so I went to Beijing for a new start. I have dreamed of traveling to Beijing, the capital of the country, and I have imagined visiting the Tiananmen Square, watching the national flag flying in the sky. But when it comes to reality, the feeling is quite different from what I have expected. Living in Beijing costs more in almost every aspect than living in Pengcheng, especially in medical treatment and healthcare. I am afraid of being sick because it is too expensive to go to hospital in Beijing. I've been working in Beijing for 10 years, but still didn't have an insurance. Nothing, no security. So most of the time, I just keep my illness till the time I went back to Pengcheng and see a doctor there. And sometimes I got sick, but there is still a whole year before going home. And that is extremely desperate. Maybe what I am feeling in the reality is the pressure of life. I want to earn a little more here in Beijing, so I'm still living in the same way as at home, very frugal. Now I have 2 jobs at the same time. One is a regular job at a small company. Usually, we do 8 hours work, but sometimes we also do overtime work for about 4 to 5 hours. Together, it is 12 to 13 working hours a day, and I can earn about 20,000 yuan per year by doing this. Working as IE does not provide a fixed salary. It depends. The most you can make in a year is about 10,000 yuan more, but not necessarily. Some people may work desperately and earn twice. But at my age, my ability of doing extra work is very limited. If it's lucky, I can have meal with the house owner and save some money. But for most of the time, I eat coarse food, especially pumpkin. We have nothing else to eat at Pengcheng because you cannot afford to eat meat every day. So basically, I eat some vegetables and some pumpkin. I am working by hardship because it is the only way an uneducated person can earn money from. The job is really tired and difficult, but we have no better choice. And that's basically what I think. Life is tough, but still stable, until the epidemic began. At the start of 2020, coronavirus attacked the city. Infected numbers was getting more and more in the news. Every day. Companies were closed and our salary was reduced significantly. We could not blame the company because otherwise the company would broke either. Communities were blocked, and I was no longer allowed to work between different communities. So my income got lower and lower, but the spending was still increasing. Things like masks, disinfectants were needed, and their prices were rising every day. We basically do not use disinfectant at home, but during the epidemic, it is certainly a necessity. Everyone is getting nervous, and so do I. I seldom shopped because I need to save money for protections. And I haven't experienced staying at home for such a long time. The only thing I could do is exercising. I try to build up resistance against coronavirus. I called my Pengcheng's elders every day to make sure everyone is safe. Because if anyone was getting infected, I am not sure that we have enough money to afford the therapy. Elders don't have insurance. They only have a 150 yuan allowance for each month. And that's even not enough for half of their meal, not to mention going to a hospital. We could only bless. Sometimes I wonder, if we all have insurance and salary, will life be better? But I don't want to blame anybody, because everyone suffers. Everyone shares an equal possibility of getting infected. And it is my fault for not being educated and not finding a good job. If I was given a second chance, what will I choose? Well, I never thought of that. For an uneducated person, I have no right to choose. Yesterday, I went to a recruitment meeting organized by some housekeeping companies, and I saw lots of ayi like me waiting in the room, one by one. We're asked to read our resume, name, born place, working experiences, and something like that in the front of a big conference room. And a man was holding a camera to record it. All of us, having no knowledge, not educated, just waiting to be chosen by an educated person. Is society fair? I don't know. What have working people got after working for their whole lives? Nothing. You have no water to drink without earning a yuan, and you got no food to eat without growing grain. How many people can get rich by manual labor? How many people can get rich enough to afford having an ayi? Not at all. One thing I regret the most is I quit school when I was young due to the condition of my family. But I knew if I had really wanted to go to school, I could have. But I just didn't. And now I really envy people who are educated from lots of aspects. They will not work through hardship, and they can sit in their offices and finish all their works through mental process. And they have knowledge and skills. Government will provide insurance for them. And I feel like that I am nothing compared with the educated person. If given a second chance, I want to go to school, and I want my son to go to school. It is my fault that I didn't make him educated. I didn't encourage him to finish his education. And now I just want him to go to school, because I think educated people are so much better in the society. Is it fair for company to choose workers by their education level? I guess so. Education should be the first important factor, and another one is technical factor. But I believe if you are more educated, you will absolutely be technically better. Is the chance equally accessible for all the children to go to school? I guess so. Even in Pengcheng, most of people can afford sending their children into schools. So what causes students to be uneducated? It is because they gave up studying. And there may be very few people who cannot afford sending their children into school. But those are very, very, very rare. Is the education system fair? I would say yes. I don't want to blame the government or society for lack of education, because it is more about self-choice. I have made something wrong, and there is nothing I could do to change at my age. But what if I'm educated from the beginning? What will life be like?